Climate change is helping to drive a rising refugee crisis, adding to the huge numbers already displaced by conflict, according to a United Nations report. Three-quarters of the world's forcibly displaced people live in countries heavily affected by climate hazards, the UN Refugee Agency UNHCR said in a document released on Tuesday. The number of people fleeing conflict doubled to more than 120 million over the past decade, 90 million of them in the countries with high to extreme exposure to climate-related hazards, it reported. Half of the displaced people are in locations affected by both conflict and serious climate hazards such as Myanmar, Somalia, Sudan, and Syria. About 700,000 people were forced to flee from war in Sudan, crossing into neighboring Chad. The country has hosted refugees for years, but is highly exposed to climate change. Those who remain in Sudan are at risk of further displacement due to severe flooding, the report says. More than 70% of the refugees from Myanmar have sought safety in Bangladesh, where cyclones and flooding are classified as extreme. In our region, where so many people have been displaced for so many years, we see the effects of climate change before our very eyes, said Grace Drong, a climate activist, former refugee living in South Sudan. So, truth be told, we can blame climate change for all we want. Climate change is only reacting because we failed in our duties as humans to take precautions on time. So we are just suffering from the consequences of what we humans brought upon ourselves by not taking care of our climate, by not doing the right thing. Then on the other side, the wars outside the climate change that is forcing people. Another aspect of the crisis that are forcing people to flee is war, conflicts. And what is bringing these conflicts? Greed. Quest to remain in the corridors of power, to remain affluent, to be in control. Because you can see, in every war, there are people that created the war. There are people that are benefiting from this war, either directly or indirectly. So all these things are just evidence that we humans, we have lost touch with humanity. The 90 or 85% of politicians all over the world, they don't have conscience. The only thing these politicians think about is how to get more richer to the detriment of their citizens, to the detriment of their countries. That is just the truth. Even these Western organizations or all these organizations, they are almost working together with the politicians. Because these countries in the West here created these organizations. So these organizations will not go against the wish and will of these countries, because these countries will not be contributing the money they need to keep these organizations running. So the earlier we go back as humans and rewear our garment of humanity, is only then we will start solving problems like this. Until then, things will keep on getting out of hands.